Good morning, everybody, and happy to see you all for this first session after the party yesterday. It was the feedback from the last years that we have to start later on the following day, so that's why 9:45 for the first time session on this day. But you look all very fresh and very relaxed. I'm impressed. That's a great performance that you guys have. Huh? And yes, welcome to the session. Again, insights in how to manage large and hybrid SAP landscapes with SAP Focused Run. My name is Stefan Lahr, and I'm responsible for the rollout of SAP Focused Run as well as SAP Cloud ALM for operations in the EMEA region. For today, I have a relatively short agenda. I would like to give a short overview of the product Focused Run so that you get also an impression, has there been some terms changed over the last year, and what is our general offering for this product. And then we have also changed a little bit our presentation in this early morning. So instead going then into the details of the overview, I would like to spend the time to show you the latest innovations, mainly the things that have been coming new in the product over the last year, which means 2 support packages. As you know, we have per year 2 support packages for Focused Run. We are currently Focused Run 4.0, feature pack 03. And the next one will be released then in November, and this will be Focused Run 5.0. I will also come back to that. And then I would like to continue with also giving you an outlook, what is on our backlog, what is on our agenda to continue with the rollout of innovations in the context of Focused Run. Good. Starting with the overview, I think I don't need to go into the basics here. I mean, the product is a spin-off of the Solution Manager, spin-off of the Run segment of the Solution Manager, so all the capabilities that usually get used by the customer and support the customer after the go live of a certain product, when a certain landscape component becomes in the phase of daily operations. And this means we are offering here all the full stack monitoring from the bottom, from the system layer up to the application layer. And it's HANA based. And what I maybe also have, or what is more important in this context here now, since the statement has been made official that the Solution Manager runs out of the standard maintenance end of 2027, there are 2 alternatives that SAP is offering. And one is the Cloud ALM, as you have heard over the last years, very intense. And the other alternative is SAP Focused Run. So I personally, I'm getting now a lot of requests, or much more requests as it was in the years before, because the customers are now have to make a selection. Do I go in the direction of Cloud ALM or go in the direction of Focused Run? And to give you also here some guidelines, from my perspective, the first question is, I am a service provider or I am a customer. For service providers, the answer is relatively easy, because our recommendation would be here clearly to go in the direction of Focused Run. This has several reasons. The concept of the product, but also the concept of starting different, this concept of the Solution Manager has not really provided functionality for the service provider scenario. Focused Run has from the beginning, from the concept point of view, supported this service provider scenario and huge landscapes. If it's the other case that you are a customer, then I think the first recommendation would be also to have a look at Cloud ALM and see if Cloud ALM, from the operations perspective, is covering the needs that you have, is covering the monitoring concepts that you have in place in your organization. And really, you can do this now. You can start already with this now. You have the right to get such a tenant free of charge, so there are no financial aspects to be considered in this point in time. Of course, you have to invest your effort and get your yet get your hands on this Cloud ALM, but then you can check this smoothly. At the end, then, it's a question, does all the functionality match with my monitoring concepts that I have in place in correlation with the strategic decisions, if you will, had to be also cloud-centric in the future. It means that you go away from this on-premise landscape world, and to which degree you will go away from this. And there is no problem to have at the end also a combination of Focused Run and Cloud ALM in place. They work perfectly together already now, and we are heavily also investing here in more correlation aspects that can be used then without any dependencies, let's say, or this aspect. Do you have any questions to this area that we could maybe direct answer now? Because I know this was, over my last months, this was a big topic every time if I started to present something with Focused Run. There were customers that were struggling, is Focused Run really the right choice and not? That's why I started with this a bit. Not the case, that's great. Then let us continue. Or one more sentence. In opposite to Cloud ALM, Focused Run needs to be licensed. So this is also a very important aspect, that this is not for free, this product. Every customer who wants to use Focused Run has to acquire a sufficient license. And at the end, it's then a task on your side to create a business case that justifies this license cost. This is this problem area. Good, with saying that, coming to the functional overview of Focused Run. And also here, I will skip this animation to make the picture complete, because I think you have seen this slide quite similar in the overview of Cloud ALM. And this is also intended by us, because showing you these are both operation platforms. They both offer, from the concept point of view, similar capabilities. The details are then really related to the functionality. I will come to this in a moment. And to these aspects, service provider, non-service provider, huge customer handling a huge data volume will maybe also handle system management in the future, and therefore using Focused Run. So you see, we have all these different monitoring aspects, as you also know from Cloud ALM. We have no business process monitoring. This is already one big difference. And this is also matching with what I said before, the combination of Focused Run and Cloud ALM. For example, to use business process monitoring on Cloud ALM and do the rest by a Focused Run, no problem, perfectly supported, and they complement each other very well. Then we have the area of the user monitoring. So also here we have synthetic user monitoring, we have real user monitoring, we have the job and automation monitoring, we have the health monitoring. And here in Focused Run, in the area of health monitoring, we cover mainly the cloud services, to present that the cloud services are running and that they can be used with a sufficient performance, as well as non-SAP components, especially availability monitoring for non-SAP components. So you have their functionality to monitor if certain processes are started or in which status certain processes on OS level are right now. You can also monitor the availability of hosts, of TCP ports, can do log file monitoring, so that we cover here already out of the box to a very good degree, at least the availability monitoring for your non-SAP components as well. And then we have this classical system monitoring approach, and this is something that you do not find in Cloud ALM. If you compare these pictures, here we have the system monitoring full blown, so really on the system layer, you have the templates for all the different SAP products, also all the different technologies, so not only ABAP, but there's also for J2E, there's for BobJ, there's for all this, plus the templates already out of the box for non-SAP databases, which is also not included in Cloud ALM, Oracle, SQL Server, and so on. And this is this main competence of this product, providing you with a very strong system management capabilities, plus then up to the application layer. What you maybe also miss here in this side is the configuration and security analysis as an application, if you would compare this one-to-one to the Cloud ALM, but we have it also in Focused Run. But here we just bundle it together with the root cause analysis capabilities, which play also here a much more prominent role as this is given in the Cloud ALM. Here we have system analysis, we have configuration security analysis in this area, we have file system browser, we have the end-to-end trace, and so on. In the middle, also a bit difference, but from the concept, absolutely comparable. We have the central alert management capability, a central alert inbox, where all the alerts from the different monitoring capabilities come together. From there, you have dashboards surrounding this alert management that shows you how many alerts are triggered by which component triggers the most alert, but also giving you information about how long is a certain alert existing already without that someone has assigned an activity to it, so that you can make a monitoring of the efficiency of your support organization also with this information here. And coming from there then to the capabilities on the right side. So we have this root cause analysis that I have already mentioned. So out of the alert, you can drill down, you can see the details, and you can analyze that. You can also trigger operations automation capabilities, and this is also a difference to Cloud ALM. We have our own engine implemented in Focused Run. In Cloud ALM, we have the integration to existing automation solutions, and here we have this done by ourselves, and this guided procedure concept that you know. We have also heavily invested there. I will show you also later. This is really now possible to get with low coding or even no coding to an automated flow that can be triggered out of an alert, for example, and solve the problem without that any manual activity would be necessary in the best case. Then we have similar, this external API management, so also Focused Run. We are opening to the outside world, so we are propagating the data. And what I have seen here now lately quite often is, first of all, the ticketing. So also Focused Run doesn't have its own ITSM solution or something, some ticket solution, but we propagate the data, and then customers are using ServiceNow or any other third-party component to create the tickets in the organization. It's a bidirectional communication, so if we create an alert and the alert is closed in the ticket system, then we also can close the alert automatically in Focused Run. What I also see quite often now is that customers are using the Analytics API, reading the data out of Focused Run and creating dashboards in Grafana, for example, where they combine then the data that are coming from Focused Run with further monitoring solutions that they might have in the organization, which, for example, works on the IT infrastructure layer, like on the network, measuring bandwidth, availability of router, bridges, switches, and so on, and then combining this with the system monitoring data in one dashboard to have the full view here. Overall, we have analytics and intelligence capabilities. Also in Focused Run, we are investing heavily in these intelligence capabilities. I will show you this in the Outlook also, and also in the ones that we have already implemented. The analytics area is based on statistical views, historical views, direct implemented into the use cases. So you can see, you can go back in the time besides seeing the real-time behavior, and then see also tendencies, or if the critical situation is a one-time occurrence right now, and this could also help you with the further process of the root cause analysis. On top then also we have the service level management, and there also here we have two applications. One is the IT calendar with the integrated work mode management, and this means that you can schedule here maintenance windows, downtimes. You can then propagate this information in the organization via the IT calendar. If everybody is aware of a maintenance or an occurring downtime, then they will not call to the support organization or open a ticket. If this is known, if this is common knowledge, then you save all this effort there. On the other side, this service availability management, also here, it's a very strong capability that allows you to reflect contractual agreements that you have with your different divisions or different customers according to the aligned or agreed service level. For example, availability of 99.6% during the weekdays, 99.1% accepted during the weekend, for example. And then this tool measures via the system monitoring the availability, finds every outage of any service, and then the administrator has the chance to enrich this with information about this was an agreement by the phone with the customer. That's why we have this downtime now. And this is therefore not service level agreement relevant. He can flag that, and he gets a proper report where all this is transparent to all the parties. And so he can show service level agreement has been fulfilled or not, and if not, what were the potential reasons for that. Good. That's the general functionality overview. You see now also why I said at the beginning it's a spin-off. It's not providing all the capabilities of Solution Manager. It's also not providing all the capabilities that are offered with Cloud ELM. No change request management, no test management. This is all not included. It's not intended for this. It's really a tool to help you with the operations and with the daily usage of your landscape components. Some highlights. To do also a bit marketing here. I think these are impressive facts. So it's a standard service provider platform for SAP-centric IT landscapes. And we have our biggest customer, if you want, so it's our internal ECS, our hosting business. This was also intentionally the trigger for developing Focused Run before we really push this into the market. And there we have, in the meantime, now we are still up to 50,000 services and systems. I think they are now in the area of 70,000 systems already. No? Even more. So you see, this is really quite impressive. And not just marketing, but we are presenting here is really used and proven by our hosting business. Yes. From the content roadmap point of view, also here you have seen a similar picture for Cloud ELM. Here now in the context of Focused Run, you see we have over all the different use cases a very wide coverage already reached, especially for all the on-premise components. They're all covered there. You have beside the business suite, you have all this J2E, you have the NetWeaver ABAP, the NetWeaver Java. You have also these third-party components like the Microsoft IIS and so on. And this continues now, especially also here pointing to these databases and things like this, because these are the differentiators against Cloud ELM. And this is a continuous journey that has to be continued all the time. And of course, if I say that we are complete on the on-premise side, our focus is on the cloud service side. Sorry. And our goal still is it to provide you with the support of a certain cloud service as soon as possible on Cloud ELM, but also on Focused Run. We cannot have the same speed all the time because, you know, in the cloud ALM area, we can release practically daily. I think we do it every 2 weeks currently, or every four weeks. In Focused Run, we have 2 service packs per year, and this means that we have a certain delay until a certain cloud service, if it's already supported in Cloud ALM, until this is then also supported in Focused Run. But yes, so you can fully use Focused Run also for the hybrid scenarios in your environment. You can monitor the cloud services and also the on-premise systems. Coming then, after this general introduction and overview, to our latest innovations. I'm not going now over all the different use cases and their purposes, because I think we have done over the last years. And from the concept point of view, as mentioned already, they are also matching with the capabilities in Cloud ALM. So from our functional roadmap, what have been our latest innovations, as you can see here on the left side. So we have certain new UIs created to maintain customer matrix and enhancements of individual template maintenance in the system monitoring area. It was a big topic, a lot of requests from customers in this area, how to create your own matrix. We had established this already now with Feature Pack 3. We have created nicer looking UIs, a bit restructured also the content in the UIs, so that you come faster to the creation of your own matrix. Then we have, in the area of integration monitoring, integration and exception monitoring, 2 topics that was where we heavily worked on, and think we also met here the customer requirement. It was a customer requirement. He wanted to have the possibility to reprocess messages on CPI layer. And I would like to show you this in a moment. First explaining a little bit what we have done. So in integration monitoring, now you can search for messages, and if they are in the status on CPI layer there that they have been completed, then you find now a link, and you can click on that, and this message, or the payload of this message, is then received by us. We use this payload and can trigger the reprocessing of this message and direct out of Focused Run again. Besides that, and I will show you this in a moment, we also have introduced now configuration and filter variants. From the terminology, I tried to avoid this, or I didn't say that we have changes in terminology in the overview slide, but here we have a slightly change. You know, we are very good in this changing of names. So keep in mind here that templates are now known as variants, and also for the filter templates, we have now the term reusable filter variants. This is not dramatically, but I think I mentioned that because this avoids maybe confusion here. And what you can do is you can define now this reusable filter variants. So you can create this for the type of the data collection, and then you can use and reuse this filter variants to define your monitoring once, and then use it again and again for further components. And the same with the configuration. So you define your configuration once, then you can save this as being a variant, and you can assign it to a couple of managed objects and with one single click. And now comes the point that I show you this. So switching to the browser. Focused Run home screen, not the usual dashboard. And here we go to the integration and exception monitoring. And I will select, and it's live. So no videos like you see from the chickens here. I still do the live demos with all the disadvantages that sometimes happen. I will add certain service that is including a CPI via the scope selection. Applying that, then you have also seen that. And now I'm going to the search dashboard, selecting here as the category my integration suite. I'm having the time range set already to today, so this shows you it's live. And I'm selecting now my CPI component where this has been configured to show you that I can now reprocess messages, and then you see this screen. So the search shows you the component, the message ID, the iFlow that is behind this message execution, and then the status information, the status details, and you have here now this new column of reprocessing. You have the update time, the processing time, and now you can select each of the message, each of this iFlow in the status, and say, I want to have it reprocessed. Go there, then another pop-up comes up. It's already pre-filled with the destination in the focused run, as well as with the message store entry. And here is now the point where I can retrieve the payload. We really retrieve the payload. So you see here, so certain product that has been ordered here, a notebook with a specific price. And we use this information now to execute this message again. Therefore, we go to the next endpoint. So here we set the service endpoint and the runtime destination. It's already pre-filled. And then start the reprocess. Now is the time where I should maybe say a joke or something, because it takes a moment. But it will come back, and then you will see it has been reprocessing now. But when it comes back, then it simply says start reprocess again, or you have the chunks again. But you see here already my logged information that this one has been reprocessed at a specific point in time and by me. And you see, I spent so much time that this came back. Good. What I also wanted to show you is in the configuration area, the usage of these variants. So if you go there, then you can open it, and then you have the chance here to create your filter variants as well as your configuration variants. We have here an example prepared for the time reasons already. If I can show you this, it opens again at a kind of pop-up. And here you can add now, you can also create your own configuration variant. Yes, I will take you here only to the existing one. And then you see you have the different settings for the I know that this would come. So you have the chance then to provide here your details, or you give a name to your configuration variant, a description. You can select the network, the type, category, and so on. And then you can define your configuration from the monitoring perspective. And here you can also now assign a filter variant. So if you have created before a filter variant in this other section that I showed you, then you can reuse this one now and bring it here into your configuration variant. So this makes it also very comfortable. You don't have to create them again. The filter variants that you have seen in the monitoring, they also could be created for the alerting, to affect the alerting, as you see in this section. And then finally, you come to the assignment, and here you can now easily add another component that would then take the same configuration into consideration for your use case. So if you go here to add, and then choose another system, another client, you can add that, and then it will work accordingly. So very straightforward. Now, I think purpose here was to show you this concept and where to find this functionality now. Good. Let me close that. Going back to the PowerPoints. And continue with our latest innovations. So next one would be then the support of custom applications built with SAP BTP for health, exception, and real user monitoring. Very big topic, and we have achieved that with the usage of OpenTelemetry. OpenTelemetry is our standard solution now to integrate monitoring from the PaaS applications. You have already heard, I think, in the sessions in Cloud ALM that we also use this for the SaaS applications now more and more. So this is the top side here of the screen. Not so interesting for you as a customer because we are taking care of this. But here on the bottom, your own build applications, if they are instrumented, you can include a library of OpenTelemetry, more or less activate that, and then from a high-level perspective, the monitoring is done automatically. The data is then transferred to the Cloud ALM component, and Focused Run is using this Cloud ALM as a proxy to receive this data. So this saves you a lot of configuration. You don't need to care how to access the applications and so on. Yes, this is how it works. This is the technology that we are using for it. And also here I could, one thing, the differentiation between the central observability and the local observability. It's really several times a topic in the sessions that I also do. So here in the context of this OpenTelemetry, we have the instrumentation for all the different components like the HANA Cloud, Integration Suite, Analytics Cloud, and so on. We get this telemetry data, and then we make this data available to the local observability. So this means the local functionality that is available for monitoring and so on, so the cockpits there, and also to the central observability. And the reason is, or the advantage is, that in the central observability, you can combine a lot of different components and see them in one context, in the landscape context, for example. And you can identify a problem in this landscape context. You can identify the problem is related to my SAP DataSphere or to my Analytics Cloud or to my HANA Cloud. And then from there, you can analyze to a certain degree centrally and getting information, but we are not making the local available tools and functionality obsolete with this. At the end, we provide also in Focused Run on several applications a direct jump in then to the underlying transaction in the underlying system, and also we will do this step by step also to jump in then to the service and use the capabilities that are available there. So is our concept, and so is also the general concept of a central operations platform. Good, now coming to the demo, and here I will go back and show you one example that is not so ideal, but I will go to the health monitoring and then select here I will choose one data center. So I should have an BTP component included. And go into the cloud services section of the health monitoring. And yeah, I have here an HANA Cloud component. It's a TP application. And you see we receive here the monitoring for it. So starting on top with the HANA database availability, the database availability check, the ping time, then the database resources, service CPU, system CPU, service memory consumption. We have then the host resources here, and this continues if you scroll down with the sessions and transactions coming to the memory, finally to the alert. So this data is consumed by this open telemetry, and so is how we integrated this. Of course, you can click now on each of these components. Maybe I'd like to show you some graphics. It is not a flat line with the system here. HANA Cloud is not heavily used. Maybe the pink time. If you click on a certain tile, then you get the detailed information. And here we have now the ping time to the index server and to the data provider server with the corresponding rating. And here in the index server, currently 3 milliseconds. And here we have this icon to also show a history. And, it's at least something going up and down here for this metric. And here you have then the chance to start your analytics. You can change the time frame also here to go farther in the history and identify if your problem is a one-time occurrence or if there's tendency already in this data. So you have access to all these metric values. Okay, going back. Next thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is this graphical overview for a single system and for groups of systems in the landscape management service, dedicated tile in the Focused Run system as well. And here's already a screenshot from it. So you can select a certain node and then you see the details. In fact, what is new is this graphical representation so that you see in this manner the hierarchy of your system. You see the host, what else is installed on the host, how many instances is the database already installed on the same host, and so on. So very fast overview of the settings. And also here, I will show you a demo. Therefore, going back, Focused Run, landscape management, find it under infrastructure administration. There's the tile. And if you go there, actually here, I could go direct to the technical system area. I should have done a selection already on the home screen, but I could do it now, for example, or star, selecting a dedicated system ID. Yeah, and then you see the information. I've selected now FD4ADM, so this consists of the HANA database and application server. In fact, this is the Focused Run system that I'm using here for the demo. So I know that this is set up and showing good data. You see data center, customer, network information, and then the consistency check is direct here. And what is now behind this icon? I go to the application server. This is this graphical representation. So this picture builds up now, and you see here on the left side, if we scroll down, very easy. How is this system structured? Starting on the bottom with the physical host, you have a logical host that is then used for the two different application server, or the two different instances of the system, of the ABAP side, and then you have the database, also one instance directly installed on the host. And now you can navigate in this graphic, and according to what you're selecting here, you will see the details on the right side, so that you can identify what is your software status, your support packages that are installed, and so on. What are your TCP ports used? All in one place and organized. Good. Coming to the planned innovations, and also you see here our development continues. We are heavily investing also in Focused Run. We have a full backlog, and I would like to point your attention to 2 points here. starting with a new version of the simple diagnostics agent that is necessary. So this means that if we want to be compliant to the SAP standard security patch process, the transition of the simple diagnostics agent to the Java 21 version is necessary. Currently we are on Java 8 here, and the Java 21 support starts with Focused Run 4.0 feature pack 3. This is the actual release. So you can do now this transition to Java 21, and it will be a must to do that with Focused Run 5.0. With 5.0, we will only support Java 21 for the simple diagnostics agent. And besides that, this has an effect on the supported platforms. So not all platforms that are currently supported by the simple diagnostics agent will then be also supported with Focused Run 5.0. You see it here on the right side. So you will not have the possibilities then on HPUX, on Linux, PPC, 64BE, Solaris 64, and Solaris Spark. This information is not brand new. This has been already rolled out to the major Focused Run user and the German user group. We have collected also feedback from the different Focused Run user, and we think that this is a smoothly process that can be established. This is also here mentioned in the transition process, so should be going smoothly. Latest with the upgrade to Focused Run 5.0 in November, then coming the SP00, the transition should be complete, and the deployment procedure will stay unchanged. So there you have nothing, no effort. The dependencies, you have to have the host agent bigger or equal to 7.2020 patch level 64. Good. And next one is then the dynamic thresholding. I think you got already the message that we in this area of artificial intelligence or intelligent use cases, we are going in this way to take away from you the load of defining thresholds manually. This has a lot of disadvantages, and here also in Focused Run, we will do it in the system monitoring area first. The same concept you have seen in Cloud ALM has been already established for the synthetic user monitoring. So we are basically also here in the system monitoring, we have a constant data stream. Every particular 5 minutes, for example, we have one value, and therefore we can data mine based on this history, taking into consideration seasonal aspects. So is this a weekend timing, and is it maybe a peak business hour, or is it outside of the business hours value? And according to this, we predict the response time or whatever value is behind. We predict the thresholds and adjust this accordingly and dynamically, so that you have then only to switch it on. You can do it in combination with the thresholds that you define. This is also very important here and very interesting. So you can set a manual threshold that you say everything that goes really over 2 minutes, for example, this I will for sure be informed. And during the normal operations time, you use this dynamic threshold, and then you really get only informed if you have an abnormal behavior to the ones that has been experienced by the system in the past. I think relatively easy to understand. And we are using also here HANA algorithms for that to do this prediction. And the last one that I wanted to mention in the next 13 seconds, we have conditional appearance of steps and activities in the operation automation area. So you can already now with feature pack 3 of 4.0 include activities in your guided procedure, where the guided procedure processor needs to enter an input, like an approval, like a signature. It comes up as a pop-up. You can do that already. What we will bring then with Focused Run 5.0 is the dynamic input that depends, for example, on the results of previous activities or alert details. You can imagine that you react then flexible to the amount of alerts, for example, or whatever information you have collected in the previous steps. You create then a pop-up that consists of a dynamic created amount of lines where you have some additional information to provide or to check mark this information. The use cases are also mentioned here, so for approval steps, decision steps, manual problem analysis. And one more, we also will provide you with conditional steps and activities, and this means like an if-then paradigm that you might know from programming language. So you can decide then if a certain step is always shown, or if the activity, you can check mark then here, if the activity is a check, and then check database ability, get status, database status will be selected, and you can then decide if this is the case, what would be the follow-up activities that you present, and how do you go further in your guided procedure. You can then like jump into different branches of your guided procedure and execute them. Here also the list, always visible, only visible for certain systems or database types, only visible if a previous step or activity has a certain status, visible based on results of previous activity or user input, and then accordingly the use cases, the conditional problem resolution procedure. According to the input, you have different ways then to solve the problem, and you are guided over these different ways. And guided procedure with activities only relevant for certain system types and database types. You don't get empty fields. You direct get the information that are necessary. Good. 0, so time is over. But also, this I want to mention, for Focused Run, we also have a customer engagement initiative. And you see here the link, so this is your way to provide us with your feature requests. It's a bit different than the one in Cloud ALM, where you have this voting mechanism, and so behind here, this is really an initiative that is done by our group at the end behind, that will then get in contact with you, that will get then, we are planning here frequently meetings and also to gather your feedback. If you go to this link here, to my best knowledge, there is still an end date of the registration stated on this page. You can ignore this. If you cannot register in this page, you could send me direct an email. I will give this forward to the organizer of this, and we will include you in this group. Good. Key takeaways: Focused Run is not affected by the end of maintenance that is announced, the standard maintenance that is announced for Solution Manager. This is a very important key takeaway. I see this, have this question very often. And we are heavily investing in this product as well. So this is continuing providing new features, new functionalities. We are very interested in your feedback. Please provide us your feedback. We are interested to build kind of community, to have closer contact with you. And with this, I would say thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day. Hope to see you around. Thank you.
Out of time, maybe we have maybe one more question. Does anybody have a question? No question, everything resolved. And don't forget to rate this session, fantastic session, in the event app. Sir, you have a question?
Stefan, thank you for the session. I have just one question, because Solman goes, let's say in 2027, end of mainstream maintenance. What happens to the intro scope? that we are using currently for F-Run.
Mhm.
So would that allow, if I remember slides from last year, even that will end? Or is there something different there?
Maybe I start and do you add something. So, while Introscope is for us, from the Focus Run perspective, since ever a data provider that can be used. So it's not a mandatory component, and it's also not a component that is included in Focus Run. You can use this if you have it. Now, let's say it so. And you use it for non-ABAP components, so we have no further relationship with this.
Introscope is part of the solution manager license, and appropriately exactly the same applies as for the solution manager license. This means end of 2027, Introscope, the mainstream maintenance ends. It is a perpetual license. This means you can proceed to operate this. It's just that you don't get support anymore. So this means if you have the situation that you have to support after end of 2027, J2E-based components, business objects components, where Introscope is a strong data provider, you can do this, and you can also connect it to Focused Run. Just the risk is that you cannot open a ticket towards us. I mean, you can open a ticket, but whether you get an answer is the interesting part, right? So this means you will only get very, very limited support, and this is also due to the fact that we get also from the Wiley or from the Introscope organization not anymore to support. So this, also this legal contract at the end ends for Introscope. Yeah?